When discussing the greatest warriors in history, names like Napoleon, Alexander the Great, and Julius Caesar often come up. But what about Africa? This vast and diverse continent has produced some of the fiercest, smartest, and most fearless warriors the world has ever seen. Kings, queens, and generals who faced entire empires and changed the course of history. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 greatest African warriors. By the end, you'll have a new perspective on African history, and you might even feel a new sense of pride. Before we continue, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to join the African Mythos Chronicles family. This way, you won't miss out on more amazing untold stories from Africa's rich history. At number 10, we have Muhammad Ahmed, the Mai of Sudan. In the late 1800s, Egypt and Britain sought control over Sudan, but one man stood firm against their power, Muhammad Ahmed, who declared himself the prophesied Mai. What began as a spiritual mission exploded into a full-scale revolution. Ahmed united diverse Sudanese tribes and forged a powerful army, blending faith with firepower. He didn't just resist colonizers, he rejected the notion that outsiders could shape Sudan's destiny. His greatest victory came at the Battle of Khartoum, where his forces besieged the British stronghold for 10 grueling months. When the city finally fell, General Gordon was killed, sending shockwaves through Europe. Although Ahmed died shortly after, his rebellion ignited the longest anti-colonial war of that century. Sudan had spoken, and the British listened, nervously, knowing they had underestimated the power of a united Sudan. At number 9, we have Barrett of Sierra Leone. When the British imposed a hut tax in Sierra Leone, it wasn't just about money, it symbolized the British Empire's domination. Barrett, a warrior chief and spiritual leader, refused to bow. He ignited the hut tax war, ambushing colonial troops deep in the forests and rivers of Sierra Leone. Barrett used guerrilla tactics long before they became internationally recognized. Though his warriors had few firearms, their knowledge of the land and its natural terrain made them unstoppable. British troops were forced to retreat again and again, humiliated by what they called bush tactics. Even when captured, Barrett refused to apologize for fighting for his people. His fight was never just about taxes, it was about sovereignty, pride, and freedom, and that made him an exceptional threat to the empire. Number 8 on our list is Kandake Amanirenas of Nubia. After Rome annexed Egypt, Emperor Augustus thought Nubia would be next. But he underestimated the fierce determination of Kandake Amanirenas, the warrior queen of Meroe. She didn't wait for Rome to strike first, she took the fight to them. She launched a preemptive invasion into Roman Egypt, capturing forts and even decapitating a statue of Augustus as a symbol of defiance. Amanirenas lost an eye in battle but continued to lead her forces with unmatched determination. Rome sent reinforcements, but even they couldn't crush her spirit. In the end, she negotiated a peace that favored Nubia, no taxes, no Roman rule. She remains one of the few rulers in history to force the mighty Rome into a diplomatic retreat. If you find these warriors inspiring, don't forget to subscribe and join the African Mythos Chronicles community. We're just getting started. At number 7, we have Mansalman of Mali. While his brother, Mansam Musa, dazzled the world with wealth, Mansalman kept the Mali Empire intact during a time of crisis. After Musa's death, internal and external forces threatened to tear Mali apart. Mansalman didn't lead flashy campaigns, but instead defended the empire against raiders in the north and coup attempts from within. He didn't just wield power, he redistributed land, stripped disloyal nobles of their influence, and avoided civil war, ultimately preserving the empire's stability. His reign wasn't filled with glitz, but his actions ensured that the heart of Mali beat on, making him one of the most underestimated warrior kings in African history. Number 6 on the list is Hannibal Barca of Carthage. Born in what's now Tunisia, Hannibal swore as a child to defeat Rome. At just 29, he led one of the boldest military campaigns in history during the Second Punic War. He crossed the Alps with war elephants and 90,000 men, a feat so daring that Roman generals thought it impossible. But Hannibal did the unthinkable. He defeated Rome on their own soil at the Battle of Cannae, encircling and destroying 50,000 Roman soldiers. No African general before or after has humiliated Rome like Hannibal did. Though he never captured Rome itself, his strategies remain studied by military scholars to this day. Napoleon himself referred to him as the father of military genius, and historians still debate the brilliance of his tactics. At number 5, we have Yasanto of Ghana. When the British exiled the Ashanti king and demanded the Golden Stool, the soul of the Ashanti people, Yasanto, the Queen Mother, rose up. She led the War of the Golden Stool, rallying thousands of warriors, including many women, and stormed British forts. For months, she held them back with sheer determination, spiritual resolve, and traditional warfare tactics. Even when British reinforcements arrived, her warriors refused to back down. In the end, though she was captured, Yasanto ignited the flame of Ghanaian nationalism, and today she's remembered not just as a warrior but as a mother who fought for future generations. Her legacy lives on in the spirit of African resistance. Inspired by her bravery? Be sure to subscribe to the African Mythos Chronicles and keep learning about more African legends. Number 4 is Samori Toure of the Wassoulou Empire. Samori Toure watched the French sweep across West Africa, and he refused to submit. He built a professional army and led a fierce resistance to colonization for 16 years. His greatest weapon wasn't just military might, it was his mobility. When the French attempted to trap him, he moved entire cities overnight, along with soldiers, families, and livestock. His war of resistance saw over 38 major battles, including decisive victories in Ouagadougou and Bouet. Even after capture, he never betrayed his people. His resistance against the French is a testament to his indomitable will and his lasting influence on Africa's independence movements. At number 3, we have Taharqa of Kush and Egypt. As a pharaoh of both Nubia and Egypt, Taharqa defended his territories from the powerful Assyrian Empire. His military campaigns were essential in defending sacred Nile lands. Though he eventually lost ground, he never gave up, fighting to preserve Egyptian sovereignty. Taharqa's reign was also a period of cultural fusion as he rebuilt temples and preserved the unique African-Egyptian identity. His name echoes across ancient inscriptions, marking his legacy as a warrior and scholar who understood the importance of preserving his people's identity. Number 2 is Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba. Portugal wanted to control Angola, but Queen Nzinga stood in their way. They demanded tribute, and she refused to kneel. She famously had a servant take her seat as she defiantly negotiated. Initially converting to Christianity to delay conflict, she secretly trained her warriors, and when Portugal attacked, she struck back fiercely. For 40 years, Nzinga fought off Portuguese invasion using guerrilla tactics and strategic alliances, eventually securing Angola's independence. She died peacefully in bed, a rare victory in an era where most warriors perished in battle. Love these stories? Don't miss out on more incredible African legends. Hit that subscribe button and join the African Mythos Chronicles today. And at number 1 is Shaka Zulu of the Zulu Kingdom. Shaka Zulu wasn't just a warrior, he was a military revolution. Born into exile, he rose to power and built the most feared army in southern Africa. His innovations in warfare, like the short stabbing spear and the bullhorn formation, redefined combat. Shaka united over 100 tribes under the Zulu banner, creating a unified nation. Even after his assassination, his tactics continued to influence other African nations. Shaka Zulu wasn't just a leader, he was the father of a military empire that reshaped southern Africa. His legacy still lives on, as his army became the model of African military might. These warriors didn't just make history, they reshaped it. If you learned something new today, hit that like button, subscribe for more untold African stories, and don't forget to check the description for links to books and documentaries that bring these legends to life.